if you have been in the PCOS world for a little while and you have been wondering what diet you should use to manage your PCOS, you may have come across the keto diet. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the pros and cons of a keto diet for PCOS, why you may consider a keto diet for PCOS, and my own experience of a keto diet. I'm Taryn from PCOS Diet Support, and if you have PCOS and you want to know more about PCOS, then I really want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, hit that bell to get the notifications of when new videos are released every week. Okay, let's get onto it. What is keto? Well, keto is a way of eating where it is also known as low carb. Okay, so you have low carbohydrates, and the whole kind of premise of the keto diet is that you train your body to use fat sources for energy instead of using carbohydrates and glucose for energy. So basically, you lower your carbohydrates significantly, and that in doing that, you are forcing your body to either use dietary sources of fat or to use your own body's fat stores for energy. Now, one of the byproducts of using fat for energy is that your body produces ketones, okay, which is where the keto diet came from. So you might be wondering, what on earth do you eat on a keto diet? It tends to be quite a lot of protein, quite a lot of fats, and very little carbohydrates. So things like sweet potatoes, butternut, a lot of vegetables, like very little fruit, if any fruit is allowed on the keto diet. If you are super strict, you have basically 20 grams of carbohydrates a day, which is not a lot. So you'd be careful about how much avocado you're having, how much nuts you're having, because all of those things, although they don't necessarily have a lot of carbohydrates, those carbohydrates quickly add up to more than 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. So it is quite a strict diet. I've known people who've stuck to it for quite a long time, but one of my concerns about it is that I think that it's quite difficult to sustain longer term. But we'll get into that in more detail a little bit later on. So you might be wondering, why would a keto diet be helpful? Why are women with PCOS turning to a keto diet? Well, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that there is quite a strong link between PCOS and insulin. We tend to be insulin resistant, which means that we produce more insulin to cover the carbohydrates that we consume. The other problem is that all women produce testosterone from their ovaries. Women with PCOS tend to be very sensitive, and they produce too much testosterone in response to insulin. So if you can better manage your insulin levels, you will be better able to manage your testosterone levels. Now, if you're on a ketogenic diet, because you are not consuming a lot of carbohydrates, you don't need nearly as much insulin as, say, your standard American diet. Okay, so that would all sound really positive. That seems to make a lot of sense. And women with PCOS, when they do try a keto diet, they tend to have pretty good results. Now, before we get on to the pros and cons, I just want to share my own experience of keto for PCOS, because I never talk about anything that I haven't tried out for myself, that I haven't tried to work out what the benefits are for my own PCOS. So I have definitely done a keto diet. I've done it probably for about 2 or 3 months. And I have to say that when I was following a keto diet, I did feel like I had more energy. I did feel like I wasn't as hungry. So I wasn't hungry all the time. I stayed fuller for longer. I definitely felt like my skin improved, and I was definitely able to lose weight more easily than if I was following kind of my normal PCOS diet. So that all was pretty positive. The concern for me, or what I experienced, was that it was very difficult to stick to. If you are at a children's birthday party and you have half of a cupcake, you are no longer in ketosis, and that can throw your whole keto way of eating. I just struggled to sustain it longer term. You have to really think and plan your meals really carefully. You have to make sure you land up cooking for most meals of the day. So you land up cooking breakfast, lunch, and supper. So it is just, I think that's my biggest concern, is that it is just really difficult to stick to. And as soon as you stop eating keto, you put on weight very quickly, everything else comes back. Now, in one of my other videos, which I'm going to link to, the 3 foods to avoid with PCOS, you will see that one of the foods that I recommend that we avoid is dairy. And unfortunately, keto has a lot of dairy. It is absolutely possible to do dairy-free keto. It just makes it significantly harder. So for me, I found that I was just thinking about food kind of all the time. I was either planning food or thinking about what I needed to cook, or it was just felt like a lot of work. And so I struggled to sustain it over the longer term. But having said all of that, let's have a look at the pros of a keto diet. So generally speaking, you get weight loss. Generally speaking, you are able to feel fuller for longer. If you are struggling with testosterone levels, your testosterone levels can also be improved. There are some concerns around cholesterol levels, but generally speaking, cholesterol levels can be well managed with a keto diet. Those are the pros. Those are the reasons that you may consider a keto diet. In terms of the cons, it tends to have a lot of dairy, which can really exacerbate your PCOS symptoms, and you can have the opposite effect. You may not see the benefits of the keto diet because of the dairy content. It is a lot of work. It is very difficult to stick to, and it's very difficult to sustain over the longer term. But for me, the bottom line is this. When I think about PCOS, it is with the understanding that we have PCOS for life. Unfortunately, there are fundamental changes in our physiology that means that our PCOS will never go away. Yes, there is so much that we can do to better manage our PCOS. We don't have to live with the symptoms of PCOS forever. I am a firm believer in doing everything we can to be in control of our PCOS. So this is not all about doom and gloom. But what I do feel very strongly is that if we are going to have it for life, we need to find a way to manage our PCOS over the longer term. For me personally, I found the keto diet far too restrictive. I really missed a lot of fruit and vegetables that I really enjoy. I felt that it was difficult to do all the cooking, all the preparation. And I really want to find something that works for me over the longer term. So keto may be worthwhile trying. I guess my hesitation is that as soon as you stop the keto diet, a lot of your symptoms will come back. And if your main priority is weight loss, you need to work out how you can do a keto diet in a sustainable way over the long term, because it's not just about losing weight. Once you've lost the weight, it's about how are you able to maintain that weight loss. So those are all things to think about when it comes to the keto diet.